Growing for Market podcast.
We worked with a local museum called the Legacy of the Plains, and we had an event there. And we had things like friction fire. We displayed our seed and spoke about our seed and where vegetables came from. And there was someone who was making arrows, a woman who is Lakota who was doing beading, people that were, I think I mentioned friction fire. We had atlatl. And then we also had that, we then met on our land for 3 days and had kind of a festival there where people, especially children, could learn more in depth. For instance, how to make plant fiber into string and how to do hide tanning and that kind of thing. And next year we'll begin on August 8th, and that will be in 2026. We'll have that ancestral skills demonstration at the museum, and then we'll have 3 to 4 days after that on our land. So if you're listening, mark your calendar and contact us if you're interested. It's really a fun thing, and people come and camp together and have a really good time.
Hello, and welcome to the Growing for Market podcast, where we talk about growing, marketing, and the business of growing vegetables and flowers for local markets like farmers markets, CSAs, farm stands, and local wholesaling. I'm April Parms Jones, your host and a writer for Growing for Market magazine. For 33 years, the magazine for flower and vegetable market farmers. If you're enjoying the podcast, just wait until you see the magazine. Go to growingformarket.com for more. Also, if you could give us a follow and a rating, it really helps other like-minded people to find the podcast. And now let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors. It's with their generous support that we can bring you the podcast for free.
Be part of a global movement in small-scale farming. From October 7th to 9th, the Market Gardener Institute is hosting the very first Global Market Gardeners Summit, a free, live, online event created by organic farmers for organic farmers. Over 3 days, you'll hear from expert growers, educators, and consultants from around the world. The program includes inspiring and practical sessions on profitability and marketing, crop planning, flower farming, growing in the tropics, and farm design and management. And the best part? It's all happening online, completely free and available in English, French, and Spanish. Join thousands of farmers worldwide who are building a better future, one small farm at a time. Reserve your spot today at themarketgardener.com. Looking for innovative packaging solutions to take your business to the next level? Look no further than Aru Company, your one-stop shop for all your packaging needs. Aru offers sustainable and comprehensive packaging solutions for the floral, produce, and specialty packaging industries, ensuring you receive high-quality products customized to your needs. Our resealable closed bottom sleeves are the perfect solution for packaging fresh cut herbs and microgreens. With a crystal clear anti-fog design, they enhance retail appeal, save shelf space, and are easy to fill. Available in 2 recyclable polypropylene sizes, these lightweight sleeves feature resealable adhesive tops and sealed bottoms for convenience. Perfect for fresh, dried, or preserved herbs. Contact us to learn more or ask about custom printing. And for our Growing for Market listeners, we've got a special offer just for you. Use the code GFM15 during checkout to enjoy an exclusive 15% discount on our web shop. For more options, be sure to visit Aru Company at aru.com and discover the complete range of our product offerings. Because when it comes to quality and innovation, Aru Company is the name you can trust.
Hello, and thank you so much for joining us again. I'm April, and today I have the pleasure of introducing Beth Everett of Meadowlark Hearth. She is an immaculate, fabulous woman, multitasker, does it all. She has a CSA, she has cows, she has flowers, she has a biodynamic seed company. She does it all, and she's in the beautiful state of Nebraska. Beth, thank you so much for joining us today.
Great.
Can you start us off in telling us about your farming journey? How did you get into this farming space?
Oh, well, thank you. Well, I'm fourth generation on our farm here in western Nebraska. And I grew up watching my father have a cow-calf operation, which means that he had about 100 cows, and he would select those cows, and then he would cull cows and raise their calves for the beef market. And he grew all of their food, and that was way before there was genetic engineering. There was hybrid corn, but he made his own hay, and I was full of awe toward him. But I was also interested in music. So I studied music in Colorado at the University of Northern Colorado, and there I learned about other things that were going on with the environment. And I realized, since I was the last kid in our family, that I would have the responsibility of the farm's destiny. And my grandparents and my great-grandparents had a dairy, and that was pretty tough to do out here because the bottom fell out. They went through all the hard times of the Depression and all of that, and it was pretty hard on them. But my father figured out a way forward. He had wanted to be a pilot, but he ended up because my grandfather died, he came home and took on the farm. So I watched it all going on, and I decided that, yeah, I'd like to try my hand at doing farming. I could still play the piano while I was farming. So I ended up studying farming at Camp Hill Village in Pennsylvania. And there it was a 600-acre farm, and they worked with people with special needs. And I met my future husband there, Nathan, and he was also from a Midwest farming family in Indiana. And we had a real journey together, and he ended up studying biodynamic seed growing in Switzerland. So from there, we worked at a Camp Hill in upstate New York and started a seed company there called Turtle Tree Seed. And we managed that for 12 years. And then, we gave it to the community, and they still have it, and it's still running very well. And we grow seed for them. But we came back here to western Nebraska in about 2010. But we've been doing the biodynamic agriculture. I started the training about 45 years ago. So we've been at it since. I could tell you a little bit about our farm.
Yeah, I would love to know more about your farm.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the farm was originally the hay farm for the dairy of my great-grandparents and grandparents. And this is an area where it's dry. It's pretty dry. It's 12 inches of rain per year of moisture and, snow or rain. But it has a huge aquifer under it. We don't have to go down very far for water. We are on the North Platte River. And yeah, there's 500 acres, a little bit more than 500 acres. That's what we have left. It was a lot bigger than that when my grandparents were homesteading and when my father inherited it. But over the years, that's what we now have is 540 acres. We have a small grass-fed herd. We strive to not overgraze, so our cattle are dual purpose. They're both beef and dairy animals. Right now, because we're aging out, we don't milk them, but we have in the past had a small dairy. And that grass-fed beef herd provides the great compost for our vegetable seed operation. And when we began in 2010, by 2011, we had a CSA here. And we did that until last year. And we love growing vegetables for people, but now we used to have a CSA that was year round. We are in zone 4 to 5. We can have really deep winter, but we grow a lot of storage vegetables, which is very exciting for me because I think a lot of times people's diets in the winter get pretty blah because they don't have interesting things to eat. So we would grow, besides carrots and garlic and onions and leeks, we also introduced the area to things like kohlrabi. Of course, people knew cabbage and celery root. Yeah, that's what we do. Is mainly now we're a national seed company and we select, it's called Meadowlark Hearth, and you can find our seed at meadowlarkhearth.org. And that's like the bird, which is the state bird, meadowlark, and hearth, which is like the fireplace. And that's .org. We grow all kinds of seed, and we grow for our seed company, and we also grow for other national seed companies too. And it is certified organic and certified biodynamic.
That's amazing. So much going on. I love it. So, could you tell me a little bit about the dry farming that you do on your farm?
So, what I meant by the dry farming, it's not dryland farming, which we have outside of our valley. We have an irrigated valley, and so we can irrigate from the river or from the ground, depending on what crops they are. We pretty much irrigate all of our seed crops from a pump, but we irrigate our hay fields from the river water, which is a system of ditches. So we're very, very lucky at this time, and it's great for the wildlife. We have lots and lots of birds around.
And so you talked a lot about your garlic. So now is fall, and fall is garlic season. Can you tell us a little bit about your garlic and the different varieties that you have and why you're growing garlic and how you're enjoying it?
Okay, well, we grow garlic seeds specifically. Right now, we've sold all of our first garlic, which is 2 inches or bigger, as bulbs to other seed companies that are bigger. And now we have our certified organic garlic that is online. We have 4 varieties. One is music, and these are the hardnecks. So we grow music, chestnut red, and a new one that's called Norquay. And then we still have some in Kalium. And then that is a soft neck. And we are starting a new soft neck garlic, which is called Sicilian. And yeah, garlic is a really great thing for us to grow because since we grow seed, vegetable seed, the harvest for that or a lot of that work is in the spring and summer. But garlic is kind of the opposite of that. So we plant it in October, and then in July, while we're waiting for the seed, the vegetable seed to ripen, we harvest the garlic. The soft neck comes first. We harvest that in the beginning of July, and then the hard necks are harvested in mid July. You want to harvest them before they start splitting. So if you wait too long, if you wait into the end of July or beginning of August, a lot of times the heads will split. And of course, for obvious reasons, garlic is such a wonderful medicine. There's so many different ways to work with it, but we mainly focus on growing it for seed. And in July, all of the hardnecks, which are more close to the original garlic that manifested on Earth, they produce a kind of main stalk called a scape. S as in Sam, CAPE, scape. And we pick that in beginning about mid-July. We pick that and it is delicious. We harvest it and then we cook it. We take off the little seed head, and then we cook the stems, and they taste like garlic green beans. I love them. They're really good. Yeah.
So tasty. And I know personally, like when you grow your own garlic or you buy garlic from a organic or biodynamic farm, the taste and the profile and the health nutrients for my own body, you can really feel the impact. It just makes
Yeah.
such a huge difference.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely. You were talking about our ancestral ways and how we used to grow things in the past with the garlic. Could you tell us a little bit about your ancestral festival that's coming up?
We just got done having our ancestral skills festival, and we're already planning next year's ancestral skills. We worked with about 5 archaeologists from around Wyoming and other people that are in Nebraska. We're right in the corner where Wyoming, Colorado, and Nebraska meet in the West. And we worked with a local museum called the Legacy of the Plains, and we had an event there. And we had things like friction fire. We displayed our seed and spoke about our seed and where vegetables came from. And there was someone who was making arrows, a woman who is Lakota who was doing beading, people that were, I think I mentioned friction fire. We had addle. And then we also had that, we then met on our land for 3 days and had kind of a festival there where people, especially children, could learn more in depth. For instance, how to make plant fiber into string and how to do hide tanning and that kind of thing. And next year we'll begin on August 8th, and that will be in 2026. We'll have that ancestral skills demonstration at the museum, and then we'll have 3 to 4 days after that on our land. So if you're listening, mark your calendar and contact us if you're interested. It's really a fun thing, and people come and camp together and have a really good time. And then the other thing that's coming up for us, which is a little bit like looking at the history of seed and experiencing it and seed now and really having hands-on. That is October 4th and 5th. That's our seed festival. And people can come and camp here and have hands-on experience with growing, how we grow seed, how we harvest it, how we thresh it, how we clean it. There's really good hand techniques that people can use as home gardeners. Winnowing, which has been used for thousands of years, and various cultures have done winnowing in different ways. My husband has really perfected the European way of winnowing. And it's kind of really interesting and fun thing. And we're going to have live music and probably do some threshing while we're dancing on the seed. And then we also do liquid harvesting of seed like tomatoes, which you have to ferment, and various cucumbers and squash.
Oh, it sounds like so much fun. I've attended a few years ago and it was just life changing just to be able to see the seeds up close and the processing of seeds. It was just a wonderful time and incorporating the music and dancing. And it was just a wonderful time of fellowship, of fun, and then also a lot of educational learning, which is
Thank you.
just, a great time. Absolutely. It's a great time to get together and to learn some new skills. And now let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors. It's with their generous support that we can bring you the podcast for free.
A well-built high tunnel is one of the smartest investments a small farm can make. It protects your crops, extends your season, and keeps income rolling in even through winter. Nifty Hoops builds complete Gothic high tunnels that are easy to install and built to last. Their easy, bolt-together construction makes setup straightforward and efficient, whether it's a small backyard hoop house or a dozen large production-scale high tunnels. Especially through their community build option, where professional builders work alongside your crew, family, or neighbors to build each structure, usually in a single day. Most growers go with Nifty's full setup: steel-framed end walls, roll-up sides, baseboards, double plastic with inflation, automated vents, and real doors, all priced to make the best choice the easy one. Nifty is a small crew out of Michigan using U.S. steel and working hands-on with growers across the country. They'll help evaluate your site, handle NRCS paperwork, and if they're building with you, they'll even float your cost share until after the build. Visit niftyhoops.com to learn more. Farm more seasons. Grow more food. Nifty Hoops. Renewal season is here, and the work you put in now is what brings members back next year. Melanie from Shake Fork Community Farm, who you may remember as a guest on this podcast, brought in $40,000 in renewals in just 2 weeks. Now she's sharing her exact strategy in a free live workshop and downloadable playbook from Farmhand. Get the playbook and watch on demand at farmhand.partners/GFM. That's farmhand.partners/GFM. The Vermont Compost Pre-Buy Sale is back with 20% off orders placed, paid for, and shipped by October 31st. Since 1993, Vermont Compost Company has grown from a small, local operation to a company supplying premium soils to thousands of successful growers all over the country. Vermont Compost Company carefully sources the highest quality materials and amendments to create manure compost and manure compost-based living soils that are approved for organic growing. In addition to product consistency, growers can depend on Vermont Compost Company as an invaluable resource for a breadth of soil and plant knowledge and the technical expertise it takes to grow organically in an ever-changing environment. Each fall, Vermont Compost Company offers a pre-buy sale to incentivize ordering your spring soil before winter settles in. Early bird customers save 20% on orders placed, paid for, and shipped by October 31st. For more information, visit vermontcompost.com/prebuy or call 802-223-6049. Vermont Compost Company, living soils for organic growing since 1993.
And now, back to the show. So you are really helping other farmers and people who want to gain their own knowledge through either ancestral skills of building a fire and just being more one with the land and learning how to cultivate the land and be at peace with the land. And then also you're doing the Seed Festival, which is educational for people who want to get into seeds, saving seeds, growing seeds for themselves and more.
Mm-hmm.
That's just really a very wide array. And I love it.
Thank you.
You're just building up the knowledge of the community. That's so important. So I love that you did the CSA. You seem like you've been doing a CSA for a long time. Can you give us some things that you've enjoyed about your CSA process and things that you've learned along the way?
Well, I know that it's a lot easier to do community-supported agriculture, which is what CSA stands for, near larger population areas. We, in our area, over quite a large area, have only about 75,000 people and about 3 million cows. So people, they tend to eat less vegetables in our area. So it's been a very slow and step-by-step process in offering vegetables. But I think our CSA was really unique because, like I said, we offered the fresh vegetables like cucumbers and tomatoes and melons and lots of other things in the summer. But then we would go into the winter and people could rely on having vegetables all through the winter, besides having potatoes and cabbage and being able to make sauerkraut and having garlic and leeks and onions. We also introduced the celeriac, the celery root, which was a really great find for a lot of people. Some people can't eat potatoes, and so they could boil the celeriac and mash it, or you can shred it and have a salad. It's just a very healthy vegetable, and it's relatively easy to grow for people, but when you have a CSA, you have to sow it early in the spring and then transplant it out. So it's a little harder for home gardeners. So I guess what I've learned is, trying to make money on vegetables. It's hard in an area where there's not a big population because there's only a certain percentage of people who are really excited about vegetables. In areas around cities, they seem to be much more aware of their lack if they don't eat vegetables. So that's one of the things that we learned, and that because we're in this area, we then started growing vegetable seed, and that helped us market all over the country rather than just only to our locale. And so, if you want some really good vegetable seed, you could go to our website, which is meadowlarkhearth.org. And we have our vegetables on there. We're trying to get iPhone. Right now, it's easier to order on a computer from our company than it is on the iPhone, but we're aiming to change that this autumn. So we hope that it'll be easier to order from your iPhone from us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so can you tell me, like, how do you choose the different seeds that you decide to put out? Is it just by your spirit or what you like to grow or what you're finding is popular with your customers?
Well, it's all of the above. Like I was talking about storage vegetables, we're a company which has really looked at the types of carrots that we have, and they're all open pollinated. And we got a lot of the seed from Europe and also from various breeders in this country who were working with open pollinated varieties. And the difference in having, for instance, a carrot that just kind of tastes, it's just kind of like sweet, but doesn't have a complexity of flavors is really quite amazing. Like we have a carrot that's called Rolanka, and it is really for cooking. And a lot of times people don't like cooked carrots because they don't retain their flavor. And these Rolanka carrots really do, in my opinion.
So, Beth, at your farm, Meadowlark Hearth, you also grow out flowers. And when I was at the farm, it was so beautiful and it was just so visceral. It just is imprinted on my mind forever. First of all, the landscape is stunning, the beautiful prairies, but also the flowers that you have are spectacular. So, can you tell me a little bit about your process of how you select flowers, some of your favorite flowers, or any growing tips for flower growers?
I'm really much more of an expert on flowers of vegetables, but I approach the flowers more out of color. And this year we're growing Tithonia, which is called the Mexican sunflower, which is a beautiful orange flower, and it's over 6 to 7 feet tall. And it's very beautiful. I only have 4 plants, and they're just huge. I also love snapdragons and echinacea, which is a prairie plant. This year I'm growing a Bennery zinnia mix that came from Heike Marie Eubanks in Oregon, and she's a wonderful biodynamic gardener. Yeah, I enjoy flowers, but the important thing is the vegetable flowers, which indicate how you approach isolating a vegetable for purity. And that's my main expertise. Some flowers need only a few feet, some also because they self pollinate. Other flowers need as much as a half mile or a mile. Usually, if it's more than that, they're wind pollinated. But if they're insect pollinated, usually half to a mile is what they need for isolation. But regular, just flowers for enjoyment and beauty, they're very specific species, and so they don't need as much distance to keep purity because they're all already very specific. And then right now we're getting ready to plant garlic, and we planted in October. And we usually plant it about 6 inches apart in beds that have 3 rows, about 12 inches apart. Then we harvest the garlic bulbs in July and dry them. And you can see here in my pals here, this is garlic braids. So that's the soft neck garlic that's been braided. You can braid hard neck, but it's a lot more difficult. Hard neck it's closer to the original garlic, and it is also more hardy overall. But we grow some soft necks and have gotten them to maintain in our climate, which is anywhere from some winters, it's like a zone 3 climate, and some winters it's a zone 5 climate. We can have 30 below with 20-mile-an-hour winds. So that would be a zone 3 winter.
That's amazing. I feel as if the garlic has really had a renaissance where people are using it so much more in cooking, but also for like medicinal purposes. For, if you're feeling sick or you have a cold, people make a kind of like a tincture with honey, or they put it in vodka or to make more of a tincture. People are like rubbing it on their feet, people are cooking with it. Just so many different ways that I feel as if people are using garlic more than ever before. I personally love garlic and I use it all the time for all those purposes. Are you seeing that too, where people are really seeing that they can really utilize the plant more fully?
Well, yeah, I mean, garlic is as old as humanity, I think. There's all sorts of ways to utilize it, but putting it in your meals, your dishes, and cooking with it, as people get older, it's hard for them to digest the garlic. But if you cook it, then you still have a kind of a maintenance regime in your health. So, yeah, I think it's a great food. I wouldn't be without it, and we love growing it. Right now, we have 4 varieties. Well, I think one is sold out, but next year we'll have a couple more varieties. Each year we select and get to know other varieties. So, yeah, if you're interested, we still have some garlic left. Go on our website, meadowlarkhearth.org, and order as soon as possible because it's important to sow it in October. If you're in the southern states, you could sow it into mid-November, but it's most places you sow it in October.
Yeah, I personally love to grow garlic. It's such an easy thing to grow. You just put the bulb in for me, and then it just poof appears. And it just looks, it's beautiful. When it flowers, it's beautiful. When you harvest it, it's beautiful. It's so delicious and fragrant and powerful and pungent. And I mean, there's nothing that you can compare to like if you go to the store and buy garlic and growing your own. It's so easy and it's so rewarding for sure.
Well, most of our garlic does not flower because we don't have that kind of climate, but we do the scapes, if that's what you're referring to. We harvest those in June so that the bulbs will be bigger. Yeah, those are delicious. You can take the little tip off, which looks like the head of a swan. You take that off because it's very tough. But then you cook the stems, the scapes, and I love steaming them or boiling them and then putting butter or oil on them and salt. And they taste like garlic green beans. Really, really good.
Oh, that sounds delightful. Now we're going into the cooler weather and seasons. And so we talked about before storage vegetables. You mentioned carrots and garlic and leeks, kohlrabi, cabbage, and celery root. Can you tell me a little bit why you choose those crops for storage and your success with storing them? Any tips that you have for storing vegetables for the long term?
Well, most roots need 40 degrees through the winter or less. Somewhere between 36 and 40 degrees is ideal. We have a CoolBot, which is a wonderful, it's CoolBot. You can look it up. It's a great way to work with an air conditioner, and it's a cheaper way to store vegetables and more consistent. We also have a root cellar, but the problem with the root cellar, it's usually the soil until about November around the root cellar is a bit warm, so it doesn't cool down as fast. So we tend to store our cabbage and things like that, the celery root and carrots, in the CoolBot storage. The reason that it's great to have storage vegetables is because people tend to end up buying things from the store which are not grown in our area if you're buying from California or something like that. And I think it's a really good thing to learn to use storage vegetables. Celery root, or celeriac as it's also known, is actually the same species as celery, and we grow that seed. You have to start it early in about mid-March and then prick it out again after you've sown it and keep it inside the greenhouse or hoop house or protected until it's in your climate, until you're not going to have a hard freeze. Here, we can have a frost until around May, anywhere from May 20th to May 30th. They'll kind of go through, you don't want them to freeze hard because then they won't form their root right. But that's when we transplant them out. And we transplant them on about 12-inch centers, and they can grow as big as a softball, even if everything goes right. Otherwise, they're about as big as a baseball. And they're delicious. They don't have any strings like celery does, but they taste like celery. Like I said, they're exactly the same species, but they're the root that's been selected over centuries to be a little bit bigger and smoother than the roots of celery. And they have a short top that looks like celery, but it doesn't get as tall as a celery plant. And yeah, we have those plants in it. I think it's a great, it's just so versatile. You can shred celeriac and make a raw salad out of it, mix it with carrots, mix it with beets, table beets, and it's a wonderful salad and really a wonderful tonic. You put a little bit of garlic oil and vinegar on the salad, and it's a great health thing in the winter. Add a little radish for really good help with your digestion. You can also use celeriac, of course, in a roast and in soup. You can also use it in making sauerkraut. So it's just so versatile. A lot of people don't know about it, but we've kind of introduced it to this place in western Nebraska in our farmers markets. So yeah, it's been fun.
Absolutely. There's so many ways to use root vegetables. And I feel as if, me personally, being an Ohioan, I love root vegetable season. It just brings back such memories of my childhood and the cool weather, and then just like the savoriness. And I love sometimes it's a little bit like that bittersweet that is just, emblematic of fall and winter and, you know, the beauty of it all. Yeah, of the harvest, of the fall winter harvest. I love it.
Another one is kohlrabi, which you can peel, and some people cook it. I like it raw. It's genetically, or it's the same species as cabbage. What's wonderful about the cabbage family is the Oleracea, which is cabbage, the species of cabbage, also contains this. It's the same species that has kohlrabi, cauliflower, broccoli, some of the kales, Brussels sprouts. All of those are the same species. And it's really amazing. And so we have to really watch our isolation when we're growing any of those vegetables. And it takes 2 years to grow those seeds. And we grow them out the first year, and then we flag all the ones that we want to save. Then we put them in crates with soil and keep them in the CoolBot room. And then in the spring, anywhere from the end of March to mid April, we plant them out. And they're biennials, so they go about making their flowers. Most people haven't seen a lot of these things flower, but it's really great. And if you are interested and want to really learn more about seed growing and just experience seedy people, we have an event coming up October 4th and 5th. We have camping here and on the farm, and it's a free event. The camping is going to be through Hip Camp, but you can come and just see what seed growing is all about on our farm. So we invite you. It's October 4th and 5th. That's Saturday and Sunday. So let us know if you are interested. Check it. It's listed on our website, Meadowlark Hearth. That's Meadowlark like the bird, hearth like the fireplace.org. And you can find out more information about it there.
Yeah, it's such a blessing that you open up your farm to the community at large so they can learn these skills because it's so hard, especially if you're in like a city and you maybe don't have a long agricultural background or family history. It's hard to really get access to farms, to see the landscape, but also to learn a skill such as, growing out seed and harvesting the seeds. And it really just gives you such confidence and happiness in your life because you feel like, hey, I can do hard things, I can do interesting things, I can learn new things, and it's a skill set that you can use for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's right, April. Mm-hmm.
So much fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Well, Beth, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. We've covered so much ground. We've learned so much, and it's been such a blessing. You've given your resources, your tips, and your tricks, and your heart and your hard work. And we're just very, very thankful for you and all that you're doing on your farm, Meadowlark Hearth, in the beautiful state of Nebraska. Thank you so much, Beth.
By the way, in 2026, we will be having an ancestral skills gathering that will be at the beginning of August. That is where we work with archaeologists to learn skills, and it's a way of learning history through your hands. So it's a very fun and interesting event that we collaborate with people that have worked in archaeology for a long time. And my husband, who is a seedsman, not seed manager, but seedsman for the Meadowlark Hearth seed company, he also is a master naturalist and is really working with prairie plants and that kind of thing. So that's another event that you can come to our farm and be involved in. We are about 3 hours north of Denver, Colorado, where you can fly to, and then you can either rent a car or you can catch a flight from Denver to Scottsbluff, where our farm is located, it's only in flight, it's only about 45 minutes flight from Denver. So, yeah, we invite you. Or if you're coming through on 80, we're real close to Highway 80 as you go cross country. Call us or send an email that you're coming through, and we'd love to show you around the farm. And sometimes there's options to camp at that time if you're just driving through. So that's another option.
Yeah, there's so many options to be able to get on the land, learn new skills, and just have a wonderful time and commune with nature.
Yeah. Yeah. I also wanted to mention, I just thought of something. It's also a really good time now to sow spinach in October to overwinter it. And we also have some overwintering lettuces. So keep that in mind and check out our website at meadowlarkhearth.org. That's the bird, which is the Nebraska state bird, and hearth, like the fireplace, HEARTH.org.
Yeah, I love that idea. The concept of overwintering, I feel as if it's slept on. It's a concept that's slept on, but it's really wonderful and it's always very beneficial for myself when I'm growing.
Yeah, great.
Well, thanks again, Beth. You've been such a resource. I wrote down in my note overwintering. I'm going to ruminate on that from here on out and work on that since winter is coming. Well, thank you again so much for joining today on the podcast. Beth, thank you for sharing your wisdom and knowledge. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Growing for Market podcast. If you've been enjoying the show, please consider giving us a follow and a rating or review. It really helps others to find the podcast. For more tips and tricks from farmer to farmer, check out our magazine at growingformarket.com. Whether you're a commercial grower or just want to grow like one, subscribe to Growing for Market magazine for the nitty-gritty of growing, marketing, and the business of market farming. We publish 10 issues per year with articles written by experienced farmers on topics ranging from tools and techniques to farm business, operations, and marketing. If you've been listening to the Growing for Market podcast and haven't yet checked out Growing for Market magazine, we've made a change so you can try the magazine for free. We've added a free month to the beginning of all first-time subscriptions. Try out the digital or paper magazine And if it's not for you, cancel within 28 days. And you'll never get billed. With digital subscriptions starting at just $39 per year. You'll get a year of the magazine plus 150 back issues from the last 15 years. Head over to Growing for Market and subscribe today to benefit from over 3 decades of writing by farmers for farmers and Growing for Market magazine.